The first thing I noticed was the cold. Not just the temperature, though the room was freezing, the kind of bone-deep cold that comes from a dead fire and wet walls, but the emptiness of it. The space felt abandoned and lived in at the same time, like someone had been here, but had given up. Water still pooled on the floor, maybe an inch deep in places. My boots splashed as I stepped inside. "Hello? Is anyone here?" My voice echoed in the small space. No answer. I looked around, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. A table with 2 chairs, both pushed back like someone had just stood up. A cold stove, shelves with canned goods, organized, labeled, clearly maintained. A desk with weather instruments mounted above it, barometer, thermometer, hygrometer, all in working order. And the telegraph equipment on the wall, exactly where I'd expected it to be. Someone lived here, or had lived here. The floor was littered with debris. Waterlogged books, their pages swollen and stuck together. A shelf that had clearly held something precious, now empty and water-stained. Soggy fabric that might have been blankets. Everything ruined by the flood. "Hello?" I called again, louder. "I got your transmission. I'm here to help." Still nothing. But someone had to be here. The transmission had been sent less than 4 hours ago. I moved deeper into the space, past the main room, into what looked like a small hallway. 2 doors, one slightly ajar. I pushed it open carefully. A bedroom. Empty. The bed made so precisely it looked like a museum display. Dust on the dresser. No one had been in this room in a long time. The second door was closed. I knocked. "Is anyone in there?" Silence. I opened it. The room was tiny, barely big enough for a narrow bed and a small dresser. Water had seeped under the door, making the floor slick. The bed was unmade, blankets twisted like someone had gotten up in a hurry and never come back. And in the corner against the wall was a huddled mass on the floor. My heart stopped. Oh my God. I crossed the room in 2 steps, dropping to my knees. It was a person, a girl, curled on her side, soaking wet, shaking violently. She was so thin. I could see the bones of her shoulders through her wet shirt, the sharp angle of her jaw, the hollow of her cheeks. Her skin was pale, not just pale, but with a bluish tint that made my stomach drop. Her lips were blue. Her fingernails were blue. Hypothermia. Hey, can you hear me?" I touched her shoulder gently, and she was ice cold even through the fabric. Her eyes opened. They were dark brown, enormous in her gaunt face, and completely aware. Alert. Looking directly at me, with an intensity that was startling, given how sick she clearly was. She tried to speak. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. "Don't try to talk. I'm Grace. I'm here to help. You sent the Morse code transmission, right? The request for assistance?" A tiny nod, or maybe just a tremor. Hard to tell. I looked at the gash on her head, crusted with dried blood, the skin around it swollen and angry. She'd hit something hard, and recently. Okay, we need to get you warm. Can you sit up?" She tried. I watched her muscles strain, watched her try to push herself upright, but she barely moved. She was too weak, too cold. "All right, I've got you." I slid my arms under her shoulders and tried to help her up, but the moment I lifted, her weight shifted and she fell against me, her head lolling onto my shoulder. Not because she wanted to, because she couldn't hold herself up anymore. She was barely conscious, and she was freezing to death. Shit. Okay, hold on. Just hold on. I lowered her back to the floor as gently as I could and ran. Back through the hallway, through the main room, out the door to my car. My emergency kit was in the trunk. I always kept one. First aid supplies, water, protein bars, and thank God, a thermal emergency blanket. I grabbed it and ran back inside, my boots pounding on the wet stone floor. She was exactly where I'd left her, curled on her side again, shaking so hard I could hear her teeth chattering. "I'm back. I've got you." I knelt beside her and wrapped the blanket around her shoulders, then carefully, so carefully, pulled her into my arms. She was lighter than I'd expected, lighter than she should be. I could feel every bone in her back. I held her against me, trying to transfer my body heat, pulling the blanket tighter around both of us. Her head rested against my shoulder. Her whole body trembled. "You're okay. You're going to be okay. I've got you." She made a sound, small, broken, more animal than human. "Shh. I know it hurts. But you're not alone anymore. Do you hear me? You're not alone." I didn't know if she could understand me. Didn't know if she was even fully conscious. But I kept talking anyway. Kept holding her. Kept trying to warm her with my own body. Because it was all I could do.